got everybody we need now? Yes, sir. All right, bring us adjourned, please, Mr. Cole.
The jury is seated, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Cole. Let's ready to call your next witness.
We are State calls Amanda Metz.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give in this case to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Please have a seat in the witness stand. State your full name for the record, and please spell your last name.
Amanda Metz, M-E-T-Z.
Okay. Investigator Metz, right?
Sort of. It's examiner.
Examiner Metz, okay. Where are you employed?
I work at the Richland County Sheriff's Department in the Forensic Sciences Laboratory in the Firearm and Toolmark section.
Okay. How long have you worked with the Sheriff's Department in that capacity?
I've been at the Sheriff's Department for 16 years and in that capacity for 14.
Okay. Tell us generally, I mean, I know this is a broad kind of question, what goes on in the Forensic Science Laboratory, specifically the Firearm and Tool Marking section?
So the Firearm and Toolmark section primarily examines firearms and ammunition components and then report our findings to the court. So we're examining them for forensic evidence. What this means is primarily we're doing a bullet to bullet comparison, bullet to firearm comparison, cartridge case to cartridge case comparison, cartridge case to firearm comparison. That's our main bread and butter. We have a lot of other kind of smaller disciplines that we do, so tool marks such as bolt cutters to a padlock, that sort of thing, as well as serial number restoration, muzzle to target distance determination, and then we also participate in the National Integrated Ballistics Information Imaging Network, also called NIBIN. It's a lot easier to say. And we do that all with either evidence cartridge cases or evidence firearms.
Okay. Any clue, I don't know, how many firearms you examine in any given year?
The laboratory or myself?
You.
I can probably tell you over my career, I've examined thousands, 5,000 myself. Yearly, we examine well over 3,000, 4,000 firearms each year in the laboratory.
Okay. Are you ever asked to match a fired cartridge casing to a firearm?
Yes, all the time.
Are you ever asked to match a projectile to a firearm?
Yes, all the time.
Okay, well, I guess before we get going too much farther, what is a cartridge casing?
So a cartridge case, well, we'll start out. A cartridge is the unfired ammunition, so it's the whole piece. It contains the projectile or bullet that sits inside the cartridge case, which is what holds the gunpowder, as well as the primer. So the primer and the gunpowder are what have that combustion that allow the firearm to actually function, meaning it allows the bullet to be pushed down and out the barrel and towards the target. And sometimes, depending on the type of firearm, the cartridge case to be pushed back and extracted and ejected.
So a fired cartridge casing is what would be left behind after a projectile is fired?
Yes, after a cartridge is fired, a cartridge case could be what's left behind. So in some situations, such as a revolver, the cartridge cases aren't extracted and ejected, they remain inside the cylinder. But the cartridge case and a projectile are what we call fired components. They're what happens after you fire the cartridge. They're the remaining components. So the cartridge case will no longer have the gunpowder and the primer's been expended. And then the projectile obviously will have passed through the barrel of a firearm. And so those are two fired components.
So like this was an intact cartridge or unfired bullet. When it's fired, the projectile travels away and meets its target, whatever it may be, and what's left is this casing.
Correct, cartridge case, yes.
Okay, and the projectile, wherever it goes, you can sometimes recover it too and match it back.
Sometimes, obviously, it just depends on how far it's gone and what it's gone into. Same thing with cartridge cases. Sometimes you can recover them and sometimes you can't.
All right. Were you asked to, in this particular case, examine a Glock 45 and a Taurus 9mm pistol?
I was, yes.
Were you asked to examine a projectile?
Yes.
Were you asked to examine a fired cartridge casing?
Yes.
Have you been qualified as an expert before in firearm and tool marking ID?
Yes, I have.
All right. Approximately how many times?
Approximately more than 20 times, 20, 25 times.
Okay. You know, at this time, the state does offer examiner Amanda Metz as an expert in firearm and tool marking ID.
No objection. No objection. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you something about experts in a minute. I need to make this finding though that expert testimony is necessary to assist the jury in resolving certain factual questions. Ms. Metz is qualified in the area of firearm and tool mark, and the methodology and testimony is reliable. Ladies and gentlemen, normally a person cannot give you opinion testimony. Their testimony must be what they heard, saw, smelled, touched, something of that nature. However, there's an exception when somebody is qualified because of their education and experience. They are permitted to give you their opinion in certain areas if I find that they are qualified. As I've stated, this method will be qualified in the area of firearm and tool mark. That does not mean you must accept her opinion, but is evidence for you to use in any way you see fit and give it whatever weight and credibility you deem necessary during your deliberations. Okay, Mr. Scott.
Examiner Metz, I have that your analyses took place between May 13th of 2024 and June 10th of 2024,
Yes, correct.
all right? And during that time period, did you have an opportunity to examine states number 11, which has been admitted into evidence?
Yes, I recognize and identify States Exhibit 11 as my Richland County items 21 and 22.
Oh, okay. Well, it's states number 11 for this trial's purpose, but you recognize?
Yes, correct, as Richland County items 21 and 22.
Okay, I'm going to need to refer to the states number 11.
Yes.
What is states number 11?
It is a Taurus Model G3 9mm Luger caliber pistol. The serial number is ADG 488788, and the other part of that, which is a separate item number for us, but still states Exhibit 11, is a Taurus 9mm Luger caliber magazine assembly and 10 unfired 9mm Luger caliber cartridges.
Okay, so the magazine, you had not only the pistol, but the magazine and 10 unfired bullets.
Well, yes, however, they're not in this box.
Okay.
They-
For course safety purposes, we don't typically
Yes,
enter a gun in
correct.
bullets. But you received
Yes.
10 unfired cartridges.
That's correct, yes.
And did you find states number 11 to be in working order?
I did, yes.
Ms. Pack, something keeps popping up on the left screen. It's like someone's computer is locked and it keeps making noise and popping up. I don't know who's plugged into it.
Anybody plugged into the system?
Somebody,
I'm gonna look at it, it's not me.
somebody's in the house and it keeps popping up with their screen. We just turn it off. Let's try it. That's all I need in the house. Is that against the computer box?
Somebody logged in. We're not hardware, John. We're not hardware. Well, at least just mute it.
Or, yeah, maybe you should try turning this off.
No, that's the WebEx.
Well, nobody has to go back to the computer. We were, it was right there. Yeah, I'm gonna.
But that's the monitor we use for WebEx.
Yes, but it's in over this mouse.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're having some technical difficulties. It should be.
They'll work it out.
All right, Mr. Scott. Okay. We're not making noise anymore.
We're talking about, you had 10 unfired, I'm gonna call them bullets, but that's a cartridge and.
So yes, cartridges is the correct term for unfired. Bullet is what comes out and down and out the barrel of a fire.
You had 10 unfired cartridges.
Yes,
You had a magazine and then you had a 9mm pistol.
correct.
Did you test the 9mm pistol?
I did.
Was it in working order?
It was functioning properly, yes.
Okay. Did you or did you not have a chance to look at states number 6? Is that tack light, what we've been calling it?
I did not have a chance to look at States Exhibit 6.
Okay. We met last week.
Week before that.
Week before. And I showed you states number 6, the tack
Yes.
light. And we were able to put it on the Taurus, were we not?
Yes. Well, this is a solo fish laser flashlight combination. And the way they design it is so that it has rails that can expand and contract. They're designed to fit most pistols, even compact pistols. As long as the firearm has an accessory rail, they could even fit a rifle, depending on, again, if it has a correct accessory rail. They're really universal. They're meant to go on quite a few different firearms.
Okay. With states number 11, the Taurus, it would be compatible with the solo fish tack light.
It's
attachment.
compatible with just about every pistol that has accessory rails, which the Taurus does have accessory rails.
Okay. Are you familiar with the solo fish brand?
I'm familiar in that I've seen it attached to firearms and know how it works, yes.
Okay. Are laser pointers attached to firearms, is that an uncommon thing?
No.
Okay. What about flashlights attached to guns? Is that
No,
uncommon?
that's not uncommon. I mean, this is a very popular brand flashlight, and almost all of their flashlights are flashlight laser combinations. So you have the option of either having a laser or a flashlight or both at the same time.
I mean, could I buy one of those like at Dick's or Academy
You
Sports?
could get it off of Amazon if you wanted to.
Amazon, okay. Did you have an opportunity to, well, you already said the Glock 45, that's states number 10. An opportunity to examine that.
Yes, I recognize and identify States Exhibit 10 as Richland County items 19 and 20.
And 10 is the Glock 45 caliber.
That's correct. It's States Exhibit 10 is the Glock Model 30 or 30S 45 auto caliber pistol. Serial number is XRP621, as well as a Glock 45 auto caliber magazine assembly and 8 unfired 45 auto caliber cartridges. But again, I don't have the unfired cartridges in this box.
Now, with the Glock, were you asked to test it against a fired cartridge casing?
I was asked to do a general examination, which is when we get this evidence, we look at the fired evidence first, look at class characteristics. So class characteristics for fired evidence is the caliber, what sort of, for cartridge cases, we're looking at firing pin shape, ejector shape, any breech face markings. For projectiles, we're looking at the caliber again, as well as the rifling type. Once we determine that, then we would look at the appropriate firearms that we have.
Okay, so the Glock number, states number 10, was it in working order?
It was working order, yes.
You just described a general kind of analysis of it.
Yes, so we don't get fired evidence and only compare it to a singular firearm. You know, like that's not our main goal. Our main goal is to look at the fired evidence first, see what characteristics fit, and examine the firearms that could have fired it. So in this instance, we have 2 different caliber firearms, and then we would compare our fired evidence to which firearm has the correct class characteristic or caliber.
Let me see if I can ask that another way. This is states number 7. It's been admitted into evidence, and it is a fired cartridge casing from a 45 caliber pistol. So did you examine states number 7 and compare it to states number 10, the Glock pistol?
Yes, can I have some scissors, please? Yes, I recognize and identify States Exhibit 7 as Richland County Item 5, which is one fired .45 auto caliber cartridge case.
While you have it open, can you hold that? I'm just gonna set it here so. Okay, so that we've kind of talked about there, that's a fired cartridge casing.
Correct, so there's nothing inside of it. When it's unfired, gunpowder is housed inside of it with the bullet kind of like holding it all in.
My analogy, that would be the
That's-
pin part that's
yes.
left behind when the projectile
Exactly.
leaves. That fired cartridge casing,
Yes.
did it match either one of those guns you tested?
It did identify to States Exhibit 10,
Which is?
the Glock .45 auto caliber pistol.
Okay. That fired cartridge casing matched states number 10, which is the Glock .45 caliber pistol.
Yes.
All right. You still get your scissors, so
I do.
this is states number 9. Let me ask if you had a chance to examine states number 9.
Yes, I recognize and identify States Exhibit 9 as Richland County Item 16, which is one fired metal jacketed bullet.
Okay.
Do you want that too?
What we got?
Oh.
Is that what this is? States number 74?
I'd have to, that's not my photo, so, it looks similar, yes.
Okay. As a projectile,
It's a bullet, projectile, yes.
is that how the projectile, the bullet looks when it's attached to the cartridge before it's fired?
No, that's not how it looks when it's intact before firing.
Okay. What causes the projectile to?
So this is a jacketed hollow point, which means that the inside is lead and surrounded by a metal jacket, usually copper or brass. And jacketed hollow point means that the point, the top of the bullet, the nose of the bullet is open. And those are designed to, when upon impact, spread so that it doesn't travel through your target and possibly hit something you're not meaning to shoot at.
Okay.
So this is what happens. It expands into this pretty starfish.
Okay. So states number 9, projectile. Were you able to match that to either of the firearms you tested?
Yes, I identified it to States Exhibit 10, the Glock .45 auto caliber pistol.
Okay. So the Glock 45 fired this casing that we heard some testimony about before, and it fired the projectile shown in state 74, but also what you've got in front of you is states number 9.
Yes, correct.
Okay. So is it your expert opinion the Glock 45 fired the casing, states number 7, and fired the projectile, states number 9?
Yes, correct.
Thank you, Ms. Miles. Thank you for that. Answer any questions that the defense may have for
Cross-examination.
So, as a firearms expert, are you familiar with the, I guess it's States 11, which is the Taurus 30 pistol,
The Taurus G3?
G3?
Yes.
where I got Taurus 33. And you examined it.
I did.
Now, you testified that there were 10 bullets submitted to you, though they're not in the same box. Is that
Yes,
correct?
10 unfired cartridges.
So you agree that this weapon, this 9mm pistol, semi-automatic, is that right?
Yes, a 9mm Luger semi-automatic pistol, yes.
So it holds 1 in the chamber
Yes.
and 9 in the magazine,
No.
all right? How many in the magazine?
Give me 1 second, because sometimes it can be submitted with extended magazines. 1 second, and I'll refer to
That would
my.
mean more bullets.
I'm sorry?
That would mean more cartridges.
Yes, more cartridges. This particular firearm was submitted with a magazine that could hold 17. So if you fill the magazine, it's 17, and then if you carry one in the chamber, the firearm itself can hold up to 18.
70.
Yes.
And now, you mentioned that this Taurus weapon was compatible with what you were asked about being a solo fish.
Yes, the solo fish flashlight laser combination, it is compatible with the Taurus. It's also compatible with the clock. Both of these firearms could have that flashlight on them.
Are you aware that your department concluded this weapon belonged to the young man Belton, who was deceased in this incident?
I don't pay attention to the particulars. I just look at the evidence.
Did you examine the Taurus to see if it had markings that would indicate that all this was attached to it?
No, I did not.
And what's the function? Well, we can assume a tactical light is a flashlight.
Yes, it's a flashlight and a laser. It just has buttons. You can turn either one on.
And this had also in combination, meaning one accessory that attaches to the
Yes.
weapon and would attach to the bottom of the barrel of the Taurus.
It attaches to the frame. The frame has like kind of grooves cut out. That's called accessory rails. And it's underneath the barrel, but it's actually attached to the frame.
Okay. As consistent with the Taurus, which had those rails.
Taurus and Glock both have those, yes.
And the red dot laser, is this a red and green or just a red dot laser?
I did not examine this, so I don't know what color the laser is.
What's the point of this accessory, a red dot laser?
Well, it's not necessarily a red dot laser. So a red dot laser is actually a brand. So this solo fish flashlight laser combination, the point is so that you could possibly shoot in the dark if you needed to illuminate anything that you plan on shooting at. And then the laser can be used to help shoot what you're intending to shoot, so targeting.
So with a gun not equipped with a laser sight, is that fair? One not equipped with a laser sight, you have to look down the barrel and try to hit what you're aiming, right?
You would look down the sights, which are on top of the firearm. Again, it doesn't matter really. It is helpful, but it can also not be helpful. It depends on what scenario you're in. If you're in a scenario
What
where...
is it? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
I'm not sure what it meant. You said it.
The flashlight laser combination?
That's not my question. My question is, without that equipment of a laser sight,
Yes.
you're relying on your aim,
Well, you're relying
pointing
on
the
your...
weapon, looking down the barrel, and the two sights that are metal pieces on the top of the barrel.
You're relying on your aim either way, I guess is what I meant, is
Okay.
it. Your aim is not necessarily made better with a flashlight laser combination. Aim is not everything. When you fire a gun, if you are anticipating firing that gun, you are going to usually miss what you're aiming for.
Let me ask you to get back to my question, if you don't mind, Your Honor. That's not really responsive to my question, which was pretty simple. With a gun,
Judge, I'm just asking that, he's interrupted a couple of times, let her explain her answer.
well, that's because her answers are not responsive to my question.
Well, I understand sometimes you don't like it, but you need to let it finish, and then we can move on from there.
Okay. Have a way.
I'm sorry, I don't know where I'm at now. So I don't remember what I was saying. You can
Let me
rephrase
ask
your
the
question.
again. Can we agree that a laser sight fires a beam of laser light?
Correct, yes.
And the purpose of the laser light is to allow the person, whether it's nighttime or daytime, to put that light on whatever you intend to shoot to improve your ability to hit what you intend to shoot. Isn't that the purpose of the laser
It
light?
does help, yes.
Okay,
But
thank you.
only if you are competent with a firearm. If you are not competent with a firearm, it's not going to help you.
And you don't know about the owner of this?
I don't know
box.
who owned this and I don't know their competency, but having a flashlight laser combination does not make you suddenly a magically gifted shooter.
Do you have a red laser or a laser sight on your firearm, your service revolver?
I do not.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything on redirect?
You familiar with a Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 380 pistol?
Yes,
That little?
yes.
I got one of those and it came equipped with a red dot.
Yes, it comes
or-
with the Crimson Trace laser, yes.
Your Honor, I don't think that's proper direct, and I don't know that it's relevant, what he owns at home. Although I'd be happy to go into his gun collection if you deem that relevant.
Overruled.
You familiar with that gun?
I am familiar, yes.
It's a mass-produced pistol.
Correct, yes.
And it actually comes from the factory with a built-in laser.
It does, yes.
Do you have any firearms with lasers?
I don't know.
Do they help you shoot any better?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Nothing, Your Honor.
All right, you step down, man. Thank you for being here. Stay ready to call your next witness?
Yes, sir. You're on state calls. Ty George.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give in this case to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
May you please have a seat in the witness stand and state your full name for the record.
Taima Jordan.
Mr. Jordan, where are you employed now?
I'm currently employed with Garfield Wilson Associates.
Okay. You, and what are you doing over there?
I'm now a polygraph examiner and a property investigator.
Okay. You used to be, where did you used to work?
Richland County, I retired in September of last year.
Okay. And do you miss me, working with me?
Actually, I do. Actually, I do. But it's kind of one of my favorites.
How many years did you work for the sheriff's department?
22 with the Sheriff's Department and 3 years with Camden Police Department.
Okay. 25 years in law enforcement altogether, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And, just generally, I'm not asking for specifics, did you see a lot of change during your time in law enforcement? Just in investigations, just crimes, everything?
Absolutely.
Okay. And when you did retire from the sheriff's department, what unit were you in?
I was actually in the narcotics unit.
Okay. But at times, did you investigate violent crimes as well?
Yes, I did.
Okay. You had occasion on May 28, 2023 to become involved in this case, did you not?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And May 28, 2023 was the date of this incident, correct?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Would you walk us through how you became involved in the case?
So that was Memorial Day weekend. So I was actually supervisor on call. So the way that works is from Thursday midnight to the following Thursday midnight, there's a team of investigators that handle calls after 5 o'clock. I happened to be the supervisor on that particular shift. So we were responsible for handling any calls after 5 o'clock that required an investigator.
Okay. And at some point, did you get a call to respond to either Springtree Drive or 7441 Park Lane Road?
I did.
Okay, and what was the nature of the call?
It was a shooting hit.
Okay. Where did you respond first?
Actually, I was on the way to Ranch Road. We were called there because they have found some juveniles in a vacant apartment with firearms. So I was actually headed there to help the other investigator at that time.
Okay. So you were redirected, you were going to an incident involving juveniles and firearms. Is that what you just said?
Yes, sir.
While we're at it, you talked about a lot of changes in 25 years in law enforcement. In the year 2023, was it uncommon for the sheriff's department to get calls regarding people under 18 being involved with firearms,
It was not.
being in possession of firearms?
It was not.
Okay. And that's illegal, is it not?
It is.
But is it your testimony and that's become something that has become more and more prevalent as time has gone on from when you started in law enforcement?
Yes, over the years it has.
Okay, so the call for service at Park Lane Road was shots fired, you said?
Shots fired or someone hit from gunfire.
And are you familiar with ShotSpotter?
Yes, I am.
What is ShotSpotter?
So ShotSpotter is a system that we use or that we did use before I retired. It's a system that's placed around the county with sensors, and those sensors are able to detect gunfire.
Were you familiar with the ShotSpotter hit in this particular incident?
Yes, I was.
And so essentially, that's just microphones that they're set up around Columbia, and Richland County, and certain places that they're basically microphones on the tower,
Correct. Microphones and sensors.
and they're trained to pick up gunfire.
That is correct.
Let me show you states number 5. Do you recognize this?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Is that just a copy of the ShotSpotter that was picked up on this occasion?
It is.
All right. You know, state officer states number 5, permission of evidence.
Objection?
No objection.
All right, that'll be state 5 without objection.
Okay, so that would be something that ShotSpotter would pick up, and then does that, when ShotSpotter detects gunfire, do they alert local law enforcement?
Right. That's exactly what happened.
Okay, and so is a time attached to those ShotSpotter alerts?
It is.
Okay. When you respond to 7441 Parkland, do you go directly there, or did you go to the scene on Springtree Drive?
To the scene on Springtree Drive.
Okay. And what was going on Springtree when you got there?
I think EMS has already left. There were several other investigators already there, and also deputies that were there as well.
Okay. Was crime scene there yet?
I don't recall seeing them yet.
Okay. Was Mr. Chow there at Springtree, or had he already gone back to Parkland?
I don't remember seeing him at the scene.
Okay. All right, so you probably didn't spend too much time at the Springtree Road incident, did you?
No, I did not.
Did you go to 7441 Parkland then?
Yes, we did.
Okay, and who was there when you went there?
It was Mr. Rick Chow, the defendant, Andy Chow, and Alice Chow.
Okay. At that particular time, what was your understanding of what you were investigating?
Apparently, the victim in this case apparently allegedly has stolen some water, and so we went back to the store to try to get surveillance video to see if that actually occurred.
Okay. So Mr. Chow was there, you said?
Yes, he was.
Okay. And was he cooperative with you as far as trying to obtain video?
Oh, he was, yes.
All right. There was some testimony earlier about a room that he had his equipment in. Do you remember that room?
Yes, so you walk in the store, you pass the front counter, kind of make a small left, slightly, actually a small right, and it's right there in the back.
Okay. What do you remember about that room?
Monitors and hard drives everywhere.
Okay. And did you direct Mr. Chow to look up a certain time period?
Correct, that would be correct.
And what was that time period? What were you trying to watch and review on the video?
Try to see the time that the victim came into the store and also the alleged shoplifting that they said that occurred.
Okay. Did you have multiple angles to choose from as far as video camera surveillance footage?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And did you review multiple angles?
Yes, we did.
Okay. We had earlier a series of clips. It states number 3, which has been admitted into evidence. And we have a number of slides that came from that were also admitted into evidence. I'm going to walk through those with you and just see these videos that you would have reviewed. But first of all, let me, was Deputy English in there in the room with you and Mr. Chow when y'all were looking at the video?
Yes, he was.
Okay. And he was wearing his body-worn camera?
Correct, he was.
Okay. We're going to, it's in evidence as Deputy English's body cam. We haven't published this portion yet. But it's in evidence as his body cam. We're going to publish a section just of them attacking the security. So we're going to call that state number 84. And permission to publish states 84.
Yes, sir.
That's him in the rig. It's something. She walked in the door? Yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna put it on hold speed. You told him to put off the backpack and stuff? Yes. Yeah.
Ty, just real quick, did you find Mr. Chow being, to be adept at navigating through his security system?
Very much so.
Okay, we just saw some of, was he able to fast forward his video?
Fast forward, rewind, slow it down,
Okay.
enlarge.
Was he able to speed it up,
Yes,
put it in reverse,
yes,
zoom in,
yes,
zoom out,
yes,
toggle between different cameras?
yes,
Was he able to do that for you rather quickly?
yes.
Okay, all right, continue, I'm sorry.
Do you have another camera? Let me not touch anything. You have a camera that can show. Yes, that's true. You want to see this? Want to see that? Do that right now. He stop here so we can see. So you want to go to that corner? Go to the corner where we can see anything. I'm gonna let you see it and tell me what to do. You want to go back to the location? Yeah, go back to the looking first, yeah. I just did the police photo. Can you go back to that, the video we just watched beforehand, we can open the water cooler? Yeah.
Tom, what did you just say?
Ask him, could he go back to the angle where he was at the water cooler?
All right, so you just asked him, can you rewind and go back to the angle where he's at the water cooler?
Correct.
Why'd you ask him, why'd you direct him to do that?
Well, wanted to look at it to see exactly what the young man did to make sure that we saw what we thought we saw.
Okay. To your knowledge, was any stolen merchandise found on or around Mr. Cyrus Carmack building?
No.
Okay. And you're asking him now to go back to the scene where he's at that water cooler, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I'm gonna continue playing it now, okay?
Yes, sir.
It's not many you picked up and how many you put down? I think just normal. Here's the half. I think you picked. How long did your last?
I've 2 years on duty, so I can say before it's not too late.
Everybody comes out here to more than 2 years.
You remember that moment when you realized Cyrus never took anything? Do you remember that?
I do.
And in the video, Mr. Chow turns and he just sort of does that.
He does that.
Was anybody showing any emotion during this time, to your recollection?
Not to my recollection, no.
And so he's fast forwarding, he's reversing, he's zooming in, and he's pausing. He's putting it in slow motion. Is that what you remember?
That's what he was doing.
All right. I'm gonna show you some videos now that came from states number 4. That's a number of slides, and we haven't published them yet, but you saw them that night. You've seen them since. Is that
Yes.
true?
Yes.
So I'm gonna start with slide 2, states number 4. Okay, I'm gonna go next to slide 3 of states number 4. Next is slide 4 of states, slide 4 of states number 4. Moving on to states 5, slide 5 of states number 4. 6 of states number 4.
Put down your backpack. Backpack needs to put on the ice cream chest. Yep.
Okay, going on to slide 7 of states number 4.
Put down your backpack. Backpack needs to put on the ice cream chest.
Slide 8 of states number 4. Investigator Jordan, while we're watching that, who is this woman that we're seeing right here on the screen?
Alice Chow?
Al Chow?
Yes.
Okay, and then the other male we've seen in the videos with the hat on backwards too?
Andy Chow.
Okay, thank you. Who is that individual
In the plaid shirt?
in the plaid shirt?
Rick Chow.
All right, moving on to slide 10 of stakes number 4. Slide 11, stakes number 4 is next. I'm gonna skip slide 11, goes, for now, go to slide 13 of stakes 4. All right, next is slide 14 of stakes 4. Let me ask you, investigator Judy, you review the videos, did Cyrus Carmack Belton ever brandish a firearm inside of 7441 Park Lane Road, the Shell gas station owned by Rick Chow?
He did not.
Did Cyrus Carmack Belton ever point a red laser that was attached to a Taurus pistol while he was in the Shell station at 7441 Park Lane Road.
He did not.
To your knowledge, has anybody ever said he did that
It's in the store?
in the store?
No, no one.
I want to go down to slide 15 of state's number 4. Next is slide 16 of state's number 4. State 17, or slide 17 of state's number 4.
You got one in your pocket? You got one in your pocket? In your pocket.
Yeah. I don't have no water in my pocket. I don't got no water in my pocket, but I'll show you one. No, and then it's down.
Hey, man.
Take it in a pot. Go up.
Moving on to states, or slide 18 of state's number 4. Do you agree with it? There was multiple angles that you were able to review of the same incident?
That is correct.
Next on my list is slide 19 of state's number 4. Slide 20, state's number 4. Next is slide 21, state's number 4.
Take it in a pot. Go up.
Did you ever recover, did you ever see the shoe that popped off of him in that slide?
When I went back to the store, it was on the counter along with 2 cell phones.
Okay. And who had collected those cell phones and that shoe?
Alice Chow.
And she had taken it from the scene and brought it back to the gas station?
That is correct.
Do you know if she took any other evidence from the scene?
I do not.
Okay. But the crime scene was unable to collect the shoe and the cell phones from where they were originally found because Alice Chow had already moved them?
That is correct.
skip a couple here and do your slide 24 of states number 4. Slide. Slide 25 of states number 4. What would that just depict?
Ms. Chow with the shoe and 2 cell phones.
Going now to slide 31 of stage 4, which is these videos kind of stitched together as Justin Martin had described before.
Put down your backpack. Backpack needs to put on the ice cream chest. Yep.
Pictures, Investigator Jordan. This is states 67 and 68. Do you recognize those just to be screenshots from videos we just watched?
They are.
You see 70, 71. Do you recognize those to be screenshots from the videos we just watched?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Now, the state offers states 67 to 68 for admission into evidence.
Yeah, I think there's screenshots from one of the, they already put in your own notification.
Oh, they're already in?
Well, there were videos that they just played that,
Okay.
screenshot from the
All
video.
right,
And then also 70 and 71 for admission into evidence.
All right, states 67, 68, 70, and 71, and did it without that.
Ty, let me show you 61 and 62. You recognize those also to be just screenshots from videos we watched?
Yes, they are.
Okay. And what about 63 and 66?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Now, the state offers states 61, 62, 63, and 66 for admission to evidence.
Mr. Scott, may I see those, not those two, the two that you just, that are still in front of me? Just make sure I don't need to renew my, okay. You want to just, no objection, but just renew our pretrial objection.
sure. All right, then we'll be admitted as states 61, 62, 63, and 66, subject to a pretrial objection.
Thank you. Let me put up states 63. All right. Investigator Jordan, 25 years in law enforcement. Have you had occasion to handle a case where you had video or a picture of a suspect that you were trying to identify?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And is it common to eventually identify subjects based on surveillance video or photography for that matter?
It's very common.
And is it helpful if you have high definition video or screenshots of an individual?
Yes, it is.
Is it helpful in your experience to have good descriptions of the clothing they're wearing?
Yes.
Okay. Would it be helpful in a case like this, if you're trying to identify somebody who is suspected of shoplifting, to be able to do freeze frames, to be able to reverse, to be able to zoom in on their picture? Would that be helpful in identifying them?
Yes, it would.
Okay. Let me ask you this. If you were looking for a suspect, and they were accused of something, and you had the video footage of them from multiple angles, you said that would be helpful. What if you had their shoe? Would that be helpful?
Yes, it would.
What sorts of things could you do if a suspect left their shoe behind at a scene and you were trying to identify them?
DNA or fingerprints?
You could request DNA or fingerprints?
Yes.
All right. What if a suspect, you had multiple camera angles of their face, high definition videos of their face, you had their shoe? What if they left behind 2 cell phones? Would that help you in identifying that person if they did commit a crime? Would that be helpful to you?
Yes, it would.
Have you ever responded, or has your department ever responded to a call for service to a convenience store because there was a complaint of shoplifting?
Yes.
And is that common?
Unfortunately, yes.
But that's your job. Is that not the sheriff's department's job to respond to calls for service if somebody is accused of theft at a store?
It is.
And is it your job to investigate if you were called to a convenience store for the crime of shoplifting?
Yes, it is.
Do you have any knowledge of your department instructing employees or owners of convenience stores to follow suspected shoplifters and chase them down?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Not that you're aware of. Have you ever heard of anybody in your department instructing anybody to do that?
No.
familiar with facial recognition technology?
I am.
And what is that? Investigator Jordan, do you think it would be, you would have some tools to work with if you had gotten a call that this guy, this boy right here had stolen? Do you think you would have some tools to help identify him
Yes.
and investigate whether or not he had stolen water?
Yes.
Do you feel confident law enforcement could have handled this?
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right. Answer any questions that Mr. Kent has.
All right, we're gonna take a break. Been going about an hour and a half, so we will take our afternoon break. We will, be at ease, let's just say until 3:45, so 20 minutes. Remember, please don't discuss the case amongst yourselves, or do any research, or take it out, take a break.
Anyone remain seated for the jury meeting, please?
All right, anything before we take a break?
Nothing on behalf of Mr. Chow.
We'll be at ease, and, Jordan, don't discuss testimony.
door with the body camera is right here.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's already in there, right?
Yeah, we don't have.
Just, you know, what we played in the control room. Section 84 has been introduced. We did have a physical representation of the body cam. This is stage 84. Putting in time.
Is, this gonna be the last witness today?
We got another one lined up. I just, I guess depending on how long.
How long this takes?
We're gonna-
Jury is seated, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Cole. Yeah.
Investigator, I want to give you your proper title. Could you tell me what you would like me to call you?
Ty is fine.
Ty?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I want to make sure I give you your proper title and the respect that you are due. You have been sitting in the courtroom, so you understand normally the questions I ask people at the beginning, so I don't think that's necessary. You've testified many times before. Is that a fair statement?
That is correct.
And the two of us have never met. Is that also a fair statement?
That's correct.
Okay. No. We'll focus over here while I ask you these questions. I want to go through a little background to make sure I understand a little bit more about you. Is that a fair statement?
That's fine.
Okay. As I ask you these questions, I just want to make sure I understand a little bit of everything. You were with the force for how long?
25 years.
In those 25 years, you started out with your training at the Criminal Justice Academy?
That is correct.
And at the Criminal Justice Academy, they gave you training?
They did.
They training on how to become a police officer, if you will?
Essentially, yes.
Training on report writing,
Yes.
investigative techniques,
Yes.
witness interviewing,
Yes.
and in conjunction with that, the other thing that we also work on is you go to seminars,
Continuing education classes, yes.
and you've been to many continuing education classes, I'm assuming.
Yes, to keep certification.
And we do all of these things to make sure that we are good investigators, officers, stewards of the community. Is that also a fair statement?
That's fair.
And when we go through these classes and things of this nature, we want to make sure that we uphold a certain standard so that we treat every case the same. Is that a fair statement?
That's fair.
And when we look at these things, we talk about the investigative techniques, the witness interviews, investigation, collecting evidence. We want to make sure we uphold a specific standard so that later we can sit down and talk to a jury or a judge about what has happened in a case.
That's fair.
We want to make sure when we're looking at these cases that we don't use our memories, we use the evidence and information that we find on scene or from witnesses, so we do everything correctly.
That's fair.
Because we do not want to rely on witnesses' memories and we do not want to rely on emotion when we're trying to make decisions. Is that a fair statement?
That's fair.
And we do not want emotions to get in the way of actual critical evidence and police work. Is that also fair?
That's fair.
You have been put on the stand, and is it safe to assume that you are the case agent in this case?
For lack of better words, yes.
Yeah. And as the case agent, I am free to ask you questions about this case. You're pretty familiar with it, as the solicitor just did.
I am.
And you have looked at all of the information, the files, the witnesses, the evidence, everything that I was just asking you about that we do in a very specific way to make sure we can do things critically. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
And so I'm free to ask you questions about what has happened, the investigation, the evidence, and the other witnesses that were talked to in response to this specific case.
Yes, you are.
And so first I want to talk to you about, and we spent some time talking about the store in question. So again, I want you to tell the jury, where is this store?
7441 Parkland Road here in Richland County, Columbia.
And one of the things that we started talking about in the cross-examination and the direct examination from the state is they were talking to you about the victim in this case, correct? Remember, they were talking to you about him.
Yes.
And when they were talking to you about him, they were talking about him going inside of the store, correct?
Yes.
And there was questions about when he walked inside of the store, what was he doing?
He's walked in the store.
He's walking into the store.
Correct.
And through the course of your investigation, is that something that you looked at to make sure that he was just walking into the store? Not anything else. Did we just investigate, or we just say he's just walking to the store, we don't investigate any further? I'm just asking.
Walked into the store, then we observed whatever else is on the video.
Okay. And so you watched the young man walk in throughout the store.
I did.
And as you walked into the store, did you think anything when you watched the video yourself? Did you see him walking around the store and you say, Clay, this is a little strange? You had mentioned that you had studied and looked at shoplifting for many times. Did you look at the video and thought there was something there?
No.
You didn't think there was anything suspicious or anything strange about his behavior patterns, walking around, or how he acted in the store?
No.
And this is, you have testified to this jury that you have investigated how many shopliftings in your time?
I can't give you a count of that. I've investigated numerous cases.
And when we investigate shoplifting cases, one of the things that we look at is we watch the behavior patterns and how individuals walk around the business. And as your testimony, there was nothing odd or strange about this.
No.
So when we watch the investigation and look into the behavior patterns of the young man who walked inside of the store, you watched him go to a water cooler. Is that correct?
I did.
And when you watched him go to the water cooler, you saw him take water bottles out and put water bottles back in. Correct?
Did.
And as a matter of fact, when you saw him taking the water bottles in and back out, immediately the first time you could not tell what was done, and you asked to rewind it and watch it again.
Just to make sure that I saw what I thought I saw the first time.
And you had them zoom in so you could look a third time to make sure you saw what you thought you saw.
Yes. Yes.
And so you saw the young man put water bottles in, put water bottles back out several times, or twice maybe, I think.
Well, he took them out and then put them back.
And you thought there was nothing peculiar about this.
No.
And I'm looking at this case, looking at the background that you know everything about. You know your young man went into the store with an empty book bag.
With an empty book bag?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes.
Well, I'm asking you, you're the case agent.
Yes,
I'm
I
asking
mean,
what evidence
there's
in this
other
case.
contents in there, but I mean, it was essentially empty, yes.
It was essentially empty book
Yes.
bag. And you've heard testimony that he went in there with a firearm.
Yes.
Okay, so this young man, and there's also been testimony that there was no money on him. There was no finances on him whatsoever.
That is correct.
So this young man went into the store with no money, an empty book bag, and a loaded firearm, and you're telling this jury there was nothing suspicious about that.
Well, we don't know they didn't have any money on him at all. There was no money found on him.
Again, my question was, you're telling this jury there's nothing suspicious about that.
Absolutely not.
And that is normal, and that happens.
It depends on who you are, what your normal is.
I'm asking you as the investigator.
But I can't speak on behalf of him. It's okay. I would probably do the same thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
You would go into a business with an empty book bag, a loaded firearm, with a bullet in the chamber, with no money in your pocket?
No, you asked me about the money.
Okay, I guess what happened is, officer, if you'll allow me to ask my question, I promise you I'll give you opportunity to answer. If you
Okay.
simply allow me to finish the question, I'll give you as much time as you want. Is that a fair statement?
Fair.
So as I was saying, what you said to this jury right now is you probably would have done the same thing. And my question was, as in going into a business with an empty book bag and a firearm, pick water in and out of a cooler with no finances or no money on you to pay for it. That's something that you would have done, is what your testimony was?
To that question, no.
Okay. And it's your testimony that that behavior that I just described was nothing that caused you any concern whatsoever? And watching the videos and rewatching them?
Well, that was determined or found out after the fact, as far as the book bag being empty and him having a firearm.
Well, officer, when we talk about investigation, one of the things we talked about is we investigate the entire thing, the totality of the circumstances. We don't piecemeal investigation, do we?
We do not.
And so we investigate the totality of the circumstance. So are you telling me you did not investigate the totality?
We did, but go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
But you asked about the store. At the time he was in the store, there was no indication that he had a firearm, that the book bag was empty, and that he had no money. No one knew that.
But you did when you investigated, because you're the investigator. You're not a witness in this case, correct?
Correct.
You are an investigator.
Correct.
We do not try with emotions, correct?
Correct.
We try to utilize evidence and look at the full scene so we can present the full story to the jury, as I just asked you, correct?
That's correct.
And so looking at the totality of the circumstances, your testimony to this jury, there was nothing strange about that behavior
Once again,
as an investigator.
him going into the actual question, because you do a lot of word salad, so can you give me the actual question?
That behavior is not strange?
For him to have a book bag?
An empty book bag, a loaded firearm, a bullet in the chamber, going inside with no money to pay for anything, pulling water in and out of a cooler, putting it back and forth.
Objection, Your Honor. Number one, half an answer. Number two is opinion testimony is what he's asking. Do you find this to be strange, in your opinion?
I'll allow it, but just one more time.
The firearm being on him is the only thing that I would find that would be not right.
Okay. And so now let's go to the firearm. Through the course of your investigation, one of the things we have to figure out is ownership of said firearm. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, it is.
And the solicitor was asking you questions about 14-year-olds in the community with firearms. You remember talking about that a little bit?
I do.
And you are aware that Richland County, your sheriff's office, your sheriff, has a problem with children and minors with firearms.
That is correct.
And it is not your testimony to get on the stand and normalize it and say it's okay. It is a problem.
It is a problem.
And so we're not trying to sit here and say it's okay for a minor to have a firearm with a bullet in the chamber going into a store. That is not your testimony, is it?
No, it's not okay.
And as we are trying to figure out, there's little things that we have figured out about that firearm. Do you agree that we figured out and found DNA on that firearm?
We did.
And the DNA belonged to who?
Cyrus?
So we have that. And then during you utilizing your investigation, you have testified prior before that you looked and utilized and went through the social media of Cyrus. Is that a fair statement?
I didn't go through his actual stuff, but what was given to me through extractions and through their findings, I was told what was in there.
As the investigator, the lead investigator on this case, one of the things we went through is to look to try to figure out the ownership of the firearm.
Correct.
And one of the things we utilized is went through his social media page to figure out ownership of the firearm.
Social media wouldn't tell me that he actually owned that gun. He's 14, so he wouldn't be able to purchase a gun.
I apologize, and that's a bad question. Ownership and or possession. Is that a better statement?
Yes.
And through the course of your investigation, you discovered that he had possessed that exact firearm within 24 hours of this incident.
It appeared to be the same gun, yes.
And this is something you have testified to prior. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
I'm going to show you this picture and ask if you recognize it, and have been asked to testify to that prior under oath before. You can look at me. You don't have to ask permission.
Excuse me?
Yeah, you can look at me and ask. The question, do I need to repeat the question, officer?
Yes.
Do you recognize the picture based upon the questions that I just asked you about your investigation, and have you testified about it formally under oath before?
Yes.
Okay. And what is it a picture, and what does it depict?
Picture of Cyrus holding a gun.
Which gun?
It's a black gun with a light on it.
Does it appear to be the gun in the case that we're talking about today?
It does appear to be the gun.
And that is a picture from his social media that was posted on his social media.
He was on his social media.
And that picture, could you describe what he's wearing?
A red hoodie with Chucky on the front.
Is it the exact same outfit he was wearing when he went into the store on the date that we're talking about?
The hoodie, yes.
Now, at this point in time, we'll move this in as defense number 1. I'm sorry, Judge.
Objection to foundation, Your Honor, as we discussed before.
Okay. All right, based on the pretrial motions, I'll allow it as defense 1, substitute state objection.
Now, before we get into a little bit more about the ownership of the firearm, now, the picture that we're talking about and I should have taken it from there, I apologize. The picture that we have just exhibited from defense exhibit number 1, that comes from a social media page, correct? As you just testified to.
Yes.
Okay, and that was from his Instagram page, and that was actually a larger post that was posted. Is that a fair statement?
Correct.
It's a screen grab from a larger post.
Correct.
Can you describe to the jury what that post was that you saw when you looked?
I don't remember the exact
You don't
post.
remember what the post was?
No.
If I show you the post, will it help refresh your memory?
Yes.
One moment. Your Honor. First witness, Your Honor. I'll show you. Does that video help refresh your recollection as to the question I just asked you about where did the screen grab of that picture actually come from?
A video.
And could you describe to the jury what was in that video?
The gun in his hand.
And what was he doing with the gun in his hand?
He had it in his hand. The light was on, so I couldn't see what he was doing behind the light, but he had the gun in his hand.
You're a 25-year officer. You've been doing this a long time, correct?
Correct.
You know firearms.
Yes,
You understand firearms.
I do.
And you're telling the jury you do not know what he was doing in that video?
The light was flashing, so it appeared that it could have been pointed at the camera, and that's the way it appeared, but I can't say that for sure because of the glare of the light behind the flashlight.
But this is a video from his Instagram that goes with the screen grab that we were just talking about now, correct?
Yes.
And this is one of the things that we utilize to determine and prove ownership of the firearm that we're talking about in question.
Once again, he's 14, so he can't actually, own or buy the gun, but he had it in his possession.
And his DNA is on the firearm.
Correct.
Your Honor, at this point in time, we would move the full video at Defense Exhibit 2, based upon what you just testified to, understanding the defense's and the prosecution's pretrial objection.
It's a foundation issue. That's not how this evidence comes in. And we talked about this and talked about relevancy.
We addressed that in pretrial motions, and I think I've already ruled on that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's not coming in. Well, there's an email that explains it.
Okay. Your Honor, this time, permission to publish defense number 1.
Sure.
Can you shrink that down, please? there was a question for some time about the light that was found on the scene that was attached to the firearm. Looking at defense exhibit number 1, is that one of the things that would aid us in discussing where that light came from?
It could.
It could or it does?
You asked, could it aid? I said it could aid.
Okay. Did it?
Yeah, it did.
So is that, from your example, from looking at defense exhibit number 1, is that the light that was on the firearm that was found on scene that day?
It appears to be.
And that would be the firearm that we believe is in state's exhibit number 11. And I'll show that to you all.
Yes.
So again, through the course of your investigation, do you not find it strange, weird, peculiar that on the day before this, or within 24 hours, this is posted and then he goes into the store through your investigation?
You shouldn't have had a gun, period.
Okay. Now I want to talk about the things that happened inside of the store, okay? Is that fair?
Okay.
And talking about what happened inside of the store and the videos that we just watched, we watched actions of different individuals. We watched the actions of Andy Chow. That he has.
I don't know if you're asking me a question or making a statement, sir.
Did we watch the actions of Andy Chow?
We did.
Did we watch the actions of Rick Chow?
We did.
Did we watch the actions of Alice Chow?
We did.
And did we watch the actions of Cyrus?
We did.
We've already established that Cyrus would have had a firearm when he walked inside of the business.
That's correct.
We've already established that he legally did not have a right to either own that firearm or walk into the business with that firearm.
That is correct.
And then one of the questions comes up, and we're going to talk about Andy Chow's action that we watched in the video first. Okay? You have been at the front of that store before and looking back to where the coolers are?
On that day,
Anytime, like in part of your investigation, anytime.
I may have been in that store in my time in Richland County maybe 3 times, if that.
And that's fine. And one of the things that we have talked about is that Andy Chow had made a determination that he believed that Cyrus was stealing from the store.
Okay.
Is that a fair statement?
It is.
And then you went and looked back and forth at that video, and it appeared as though nothing had been stolen.
That is correct.
And that he was putting water back and forth, but it did not appear that he had stolen something.
That is true.
And so, but still, from Mr. Chow, and I mean Andy's vantage point, that's what he had told you he had thought. Is that a fair statement?
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay and what somebody else thought.
Sustained.
This case is all about if shoplifting occurred, according to the state, correct?
It is.
When he went back up to the counter from the videos we watched, the question is, did he have anything in his front hood? Is that a fair statement?
They asked me if he had any water in his front hood.
And it appeared as though there was something heavy in his front hood.
I believe so, yes.
Could you see how someone could have mistaken water for a firearm?
Objection, that's an improper question.
Yeah, I'll sustain that. False speculation.
And watching the videos at the front that we've replayed, were you able to see something heavy in that front hood?
Not necessarily, but
What do you mean? Did you look?
I did.
Okay. And were you able to see and check if there was anything heavy from your vantage point looking at these videos?
He had his hands in his pocket.
Okay. And in your 25 years of experience, was that suspicious behavior?
Keep your hands in your pocket?
Yes, sir.
No.
When you went back and looked at the videos, we can agree, based upon your testimony, that Rick Chow was being very helpful in letting you see the videos.
He was.
And when he was talking to you about the videos, as we were watching them on the screens, he was asking Alice, when did the shoplifting occur? Something like that. Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
Okay. And so is it safe to say, I'm sorry, and in watching the videos that we watched, most of the actions that happen inside of the store are Alice Chow, Andy Chow, and Cyrus.
That is correct.
And Rick Chow is in the back.
Yes,
And Rick Chow is the one who is showing you the videos.
he was.
And then once the three of you, and I think it was you, Officer English, and Rick, were looking at the videos, I think you had made the impression when he saw nothing was taken, he put his hands up or something like that.
He did.
Genuine shock?
I don't know if it was genuine.
Did you think it wasn't?
I didn't know what to think.
Okay. Did you indicate that in a report, anything of that nature, that I felt that he was faking or anything of that nature?
No,
And we had talked about when we do report writing that we want to make sure we have specifics. Would you agree with me there?
that's true.
And we don't want speculation.
Don't.
And we don't want to rely on our memory from 3 years ago.
But the video showed what it showed.
And what I'm asking you is the shock. Did you indicate anywhere in his report that he looked like he was faking, this was not genuine, he was making this up?
Well, I didn't say any of those words, but the video showed what it showed.
And when he talked to you, he had no lawyer with him.
He did not.
He didn't request a lawyer.
Not to my knowledge, no.
He just was talking to you and helping you and aiding you on what was going on.
That is correct.
And the conversations that were happening at the front of the store were between Alice Chow and Andy Chow concerning the potential shoplifting. Would you agree with me there?
That is true.
And none of the conversations were between Rick Chow and this young man.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
And not that we saw in any of the video.
That is correct.
And officer, we've gone back and forth, and I understand how you feel about following someone out of the store. That this is not something you would advise anyone to do. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely not.
And you would definitely not advise anyone to follow anyone, chase anyone for 130 yards. You agree with
Absolutely
that?
not.
But you would also agree that that's not against the law.
Just because it's not against the law, if you have to use common sense sometimes.
Correct. But we're not sitting here and saying following out of the store is against the law.
It is not, but once again, common sense has to be applied.
And in certain situations, we have, and you've been asked this question before, officers sometimes have to follow individuals. Would you agree with me there?
We do, and we're trained to do so, and we are, once again, trained to do that, and that's our job as law enforcement officers.
And sometimes-
To go into danger so that you as every citizen do not have to do so.
And sometimes officers make mistakes.
We all make mistakes,
We all make mistakes.
absolutely.
And we can only take the information that is presented to us as we are paying attention at that point in time. Is that fair? Meaning the officer who walks in a situation, he can just take the situation as he sees it.
Could.
And in a situation, if, and this question was asked to you before, if you are following someone and they turn and point a gun at you and or your partner, what would you do?
Tell them to drop it.
And if they did not? What are you trained to do?
Fire, stop the threat.
Mr. Chow has a concealed weapons permit,
He does,
and that was part of the investigation that you looked into.
correct?
And that is something that we also teach in the concealed weapons classes. Would you agree with me there?
What's that?
That the same thing that they teach you officers on how to be proper and how to assess threats and things of that nature.
Correct.
Have you had opportunity to look at all of the interviews and everybody who's given an interview in this case?
I have.
Are you pleased with the way that other officers conducted and did their interviews?
We all do things differently, but I have confidence in all my fellow co-workers and did it to the best of their ability.
To the best of their ability. But there's some things that could always be done different. Is that a fair statement?
Some things we all can do different, all do better. We're human.
And when I started talking to you, one of the things I was asking you about, Ty, is trying to, well, maybe I didn't ask this question, but I'll ask it now. When we try to get statements, do we try to get them as close to the incident time as possible?
We do.
Almost always. That is one of the things that is paramount to be an officer. You try to get as close to the incident as possible.
Try to, yes.
And I'm not trying to cut you off, but could you explain to the jury, why do we want to get something so close?
Well, we want to do it also, I guess, to capture the time so that nothing is possibly forgotten to help with the investigation.
And that is a great answer and a great question. We want to make sure nothing's forgotten. Is that a yes?
Yes, I'm sorry, yes.
I apologize. Sometimes I do make statements instead of questions. But one of the questions that we want to make sure witnesses do not forget.
That is correct.
We want to make sure that witnesses' memories aren't merged with someone else's memories.
True.
We want to make sure that social media and things of that nature don't influence an individual's memories.
That's correct.
And these are the things that we're taught at the Criminal Justice Academy as well as the seminars and classes that you've attended. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
And we try to make sure that when we interview witnesses, and I think we've watched some of the body camera, we want to separate people. We don't want them interviewed together.
Correct.
I mean, that's one of the first things to tell you. Do not interview witnesses together.
Correct.
Why don't we want witnesses interviewed together?
You want each person's authentic statement and what they saw and not have them impact each other.
And as an investigator, as an officer, as a gentleman who's doing this a long time, you have seen situations when other statements influence other individuals when done incorrectly. Is that a fair statement?
I haven't.
I know you've never done it, but have you ever seen a situation where someone's statement can be influenced by someone else's statement?
Not that I can recall.
You do not believe that actually happens?
You actually have, if I've seen it.
Yeah.
And I have not. I said
Number two.
I can't recall ever seeing it.
Correct. Have you seen a situation where an officer interviews two individuals at the same time?
I have not.
And we watch all the body cams in this case.
Yes.
Would you agree with me sometimes some of the officers are actually talking to individuals as they're together getting statements at the same time?
In this case?
Yeah.
I don't recall seeing that.
But if that did happen, that would be a no-no?
It would be.
We talked, well, we haven't talked yet, but 911 calls are something that's also very important.
That is correct.
Because 911 calls, that's when we get the, not to use a legal phrase that all of us know, the excited utterance. That's when we get the person's true emotion when they're talking and what really happened. And that's as close to the incident as possible a lot of times.
That can depend. Sometimes people's emotions and what they see can cause them to maybe, how can I say it? Maybe forget things that they saw, but once they calm down and think about it all the time, they start to remember things. And so that's why we try to bring them back sometimes so that we can get a more detailed statement.
But don't we worry about witnesses coming in and getting 2, 3 different types of statements? Isn't that a concern that we have as officers?
It is.
And you were in here, we worry about individuals giving different statements. We want things to be consistent. Is that fair?
That is true.
And when we're talking to the jury, our goal is to try to present all facts to a jury so they can have everything, so they can understand what happened on the scene, so they're not taking our opinion. Is that
To the
fair?
best of our ability, yes.
Did you interview either Rick or Andy? And I don't know, I'm literally asking.
Andy?
You did interview Andy Chow?
Yes.
Thank you for indulgence. Was a question asked of some witnesses, and you may or may not be able to answer this, but since you are the investigator who knows the full file, there was a question asked if anyone on scene was told that Cyrus pointed a gun at Andy Chow, or if Andy or Rick Chow ever said that. Do you remember?
I don't recall.
So you do not remember if that was said?
I don't recall at that
Okay,
time.
that was such a bad question. It could have like 6 different answers, so that's on me. You do not recall the question being asked of anybody, or, well, first, let's start there. Do you recall that question being asked?
I don't.
Okay. To the best of your knowledge, did Ricky or Andy Chow on that night indicate that Cyrus had pointed a gun at Andy Chow?
Objection, Your Honor.
That's fine. You've heard the testimony of some of the witnesses who have testified. As the case agent, was there ever any concerns about the veracity of any of the witnesses who had testified?
No.
Did any of the officers under your steward, when we were looking at this case, questioned any of the witnesses' veracity?
Objection again to hearsay, Your Honor.
Same.
And I promise you I'm almost done. I promise you I am. Thank the court's indulgence for me.
Yes, sir.
And I very much appreciate your testimony. I know this is a difficult time, a difficult situation, and I don't want to take that for granted. But just to make sure I go back and finish. Cyrus Belton went into the store with a firearm.
He did.
It was illegal for him to walk into the store with a firearm.
It was illegal.
Through the course of your investigation, you showed that he had possession of that firearm within 24 hours before going into that store.
Correct?
The firearm was equipped with the light that we see on the TV now.
Yes.
Through your investigation, you found no money or payment ability for Cyrus to pay for anything in that store.
Did not.
The book bag you found had nothing inside of the book bag.
There's some papers in there, but essentially, yeah.
Your testimony is there was nothing strange that you thought of going inside of that store with nothing in it. Nothing in the book bag, other than the gun. I'm sorry, I don't want, you thought it was strange going into the store with a gun.
Correct.
Rick Chow immediately talked to you that evening.
Not, he talked to, I guess, other people there, but then spoke to me at the store to show me the video, yes.
No attorney.
No?
He went down and showed you the video surveillance.
He did?
He comported with everything that you asked.
As far as the video, yes.
When you were watching the video, you had to watch it not one, not two, but 3 times, and on the 3rd time you had to blow it up.
Didn't have to, but he said that he could.
He said he could.
Yes.
And then when it was shown that it appeared as though this person may not have taken anything, he said something that showed shock, but you're not sure if it was genuine.
The video speaks for itself.
And he was not in the store when the shoplifting occurred, or the alleged shoplifting occurred.
Who?
Mr. Chow. He was in the back. I'm sorry, he was not in the main area of the store.
Correct.
Is that a better question?
Yes.
Andy Chow and Alice appeared to be the one having conversations with this young man.
That's true.
Andy and Alice are not charged with anything.
No.
Andy Chow is the one who went out of the store first.
Yes.
You conducted an interview with Andy, and we can't get into that, of course, but you conducted the interview with Andy
I did?
on the scene.
No.
So you conducted an interview with him later.
Correct.
You're aware he gave several interviews on scene.
I learned that, yes.
You learned that, yes?
Yes.
Later, that he gave several
Yes.
interviews on scene. And Rick Chow gave several interviews on scene, and we saw a portion of one already.
I learned that.
Yeah, but we saw
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
them.
yes.
We
I'm
saw
sorry,
a
yes,
portion of
yeah.
one of them all there together. And then finally, you have testified, we may disagree with it, we may not like it, but you would agree it is not against the law to follow and or chase somebody from leaving from the store.
Not against the law, but once again, use and exercise common sense.
And you are not sitting here testifying even with any suggestion that you believe it is okay for a 14-year-old in Richland County to have a gun with a bullet in the chamber.
It's not okay.
Thank you, I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Tom.
Yes, sir.
Anything on either end?
If you saw 2 grown men chasing a child down the road, one armed, would you intervene?
I would.
Okay. Was Rick Chow licensed law enforcement?
He was not.
In 2023, were you licensed law enforcement?
I was.
In 25 years of being a licensed law enforcement officer, have you found yourself in dangerous situations before?
Yes.
How many times have you shot people?
Never.
Have there been times in these dangerous situations where you were felt compelled to have restraint instead of pulling out a firearm and shooting somebody?
Yes.
In 25 years of law enforcement in Richland County, you never aimed a gun at anybody and pulled the trigger.
I have not.
Let me ask you something, Investigator Jordan. I'm still calling you investigator. That's what you are to me. When Cyrus Carmack Belton walked out of 7441 Parkland Road, May 28, 2023, was he walking or running?
Walking.
Was he combative with the Chows, or was he polite to them?
He's very polite.
Okay. In contrast, what were Rick Chow and his son Andy doing when they left the store?
Hastily running after him or hurrying out of the store to try to catch him.
They're hauling ass.
Yes.
What did Cyrus do when he saw two grown men running at him and screaming?
Your Honor, I'm going to share the video speak for itself, and now we're editorializing.
Thank you. On the other hand, when Cyrus turns the corner after he's walking, what does he do when grown men are running after him, screaming at him?
Appear to be scared and take off running.
Where again was Cyrus Carmack Belton shot and killed?
On his body,
Where was his body found?
on Spring Tree Drive,
Do you know how far away?
over a football field.
You were asked a lot of questions and about what you find suspicious and what could have happened here and there. Cyrus Carmack Belton did not steal anything from that store.
He did not.
Had he been left alone to walk away, not been chased, if everybody stayed in the store whose name was Chow, would this situation have occurred?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you. The solicitor just asked you, I only really have one question. He asked you in your 25 years, you have never had to pull your firearm?
He asked me if I had to shoot somebody.
And the answer is no.
Never shot anybody.
Have you ever been in a position where somebody has pointed a firearm at a loved one while you were sitting there watching?
Actually, I had a firearm pulled on me. On a loved one, no.
On a loved one, no?
No.
Different situation.
It is.
Thank you so much.
All right, you can step down, sir. Thank you for being here. Ready to go ahead and put this on?
State calls Dr. Amy Durso.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you shall give in this case to be the truth and whole truth and nothing but the truth so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Please have a seat in the witness stand and state your full name for the record, and please spell your last name.
Amy Durso, D-U-R-S-O.
Dr. Durso, where are you employed?
I'm currently employed by the Medical University of South Carolina as a forensic pathologist.
What is forensic pathology?
So forensic pathologists are medical doctors. We go through medical school and we go through pathology training, but we're specifically trained to do autopsies, so to look at bodies after death, to determine the cause and manner of death, and also we're educated about patterns of injuries and different mechanisms of death.
Okay. You perform autopsies on people who have passed away to determine cause and manner of death, is what you testified to?
Yes.
Approximately how many autopsies have you done?
I'm up over 4,000.
Okay. And you are a medical doctor?
Yes, I have a medical degree.
And how many times do you think you've been qualified as an expert?
Your Honor, I have no objection with your expertise, none whatsoever.
All right, I find that expert testimony is necessary to assist the jury in resolving factual questions. Dr. Durso is qualified in the area of forensic pathology. The methodology and testimony is reliable, ladies and gentlemen. The same applies to what I told you earlier. Dr. Durso has been qualified as an expert in the area of forensic pathology, and you can accept her testimony and opinion and give it whatever way you deem necessary during your deliberation. Mr. Scott.
Thank you. Dr. Durso, did you have occasion to perform an autopsy on Cyrus Carmack Belton on May 29th of 2023?
Yes.
Okay. Let me start with a couple of questions. What do your notes show that Mr. Belton, what was his weight?
Mr. Belton weighed 114 pounds.
Okay. And it looks like he was about 5'6", does that sound right?
I have him as 5'8", but
68 inches in your,
yeah.
okay. 5'8", 114 pounds.
Yes.
And his listed age?
Is 14 years old.
Okay. Initially, when you examine a body, what is the first thing you do?
So the coroner's office identifies the body, brings it out, and then we look at the outside of the body and we notate everything, eye color, hair color, scars, tattoos, any injuries, height, weight, postmortem changes, and after we complete that, we start opening the body and looking at all the internal organs.
Okay. Initially, what were your observations before you began dissection?
The most notable finding was a gunshot wound entering his right back.
Okay. What about other superficial type wounds?
There was a partially healed injury on his right hand, and there were some abrasions on his right lower leg.
I want to show you stays 77. Does that accurately reflect the abrasions on his leg?
Yes.
Okay. And did these appear to be recent wounds?
Yes.
Okay. The location of the wound on his back, say that one more time.
It was on his kind of right back area, just below kind of mid-back.
Okay, and that states 80. Does that fairly and accurately represent what you yourself witnessed?
Yes.
Okay. I want to show you what's been introduced, state 79. Do you recognize that?
Yes, this is a photo of one of the x-rays we took before we started the autopsy. So before we do autopsies on gunshot wounds, we x-ray the body to make sure we know where the bullet is, if there's a bullet in them, to make sure we recover that so we can hand it over to law enforcement. He's on his side.
Okay, I was about to say, so where his head would be to the right of the screen?
Yes, his head's to the right, his legs are to the left.
Okay, yeah, and I guess his buttocks would be at the bottom left corner there?
Correct.
Okay.
And he's kind of boosted up on a body block so we can shoot across the table.
And, okay. Dr. Durso, what is this object right here that we're seeing in state 79?
That's the projectile we recovered from the body at autopsy.
Okay. And this is just this is an angle, different angle, but this is state 8. Do you recognize that?
Yes, that's upside down. But this is an x-ray going front to back of the body, again showing where the projectile is located. So it's just left of midline, as you can see.
83 is not in yonder, but we're offering states 83 for admission now.
No objection.
Already been admitted to state 83.
Okay, this is a little, in space 83, again, this is what?
That's the projectile, and you can see the shadow of his heart just above that.
This is his heart?
Yes.
Okay. And correct me if I'm wrong, but his head would be, this is basically looking at his head being up,
Correct.
steepening down. I even see, I think, an arm right here.
Yes.
Okay. What were your general findings as far as the bullet wound? Did it have an exit?
It did not exit, no.
Okay. Let me show you, it hasn't been introduced yet, but do you often, or I guess rather, probably all the time, do you draft something like that when you do an autopsy?
Yes, so we have a stack of blank male, female, all sorts of diagrams that we take notes on when we do the autopsy. And then I kind of do my report based on some of the notes I take on there.
Okay, and this is not scale, right? Is it, this is just kind of?
No, it's a generic male diagram.
Okay. United States officer states 73 for admission.
No objection.
Already been admitted to states 73 without objection.
What were your general findings as far as the, we already said it didn't have an exit wound, but the bullet wound that was found in his back, you said it was his right lower back?
Right, so it's the right lower back. It was just under 2 inches right of midline, 46.5 inches above the heel. It was a classic entrance wound. So entrance wounds have what we call an abrasion collar. So as the bullet enters the skin, it kind of rubs the edge of the skin and drags it for a split second on the way in. So that's a typical entrance wound, which this had. The other things we look for when we're looking at bullet wounds in autopsy is we look for soot and stippling, because that's going to kind of tell us if there's a clue as to how close the shooter was when they were shot. So if there's soot like in the wound, that's usually a contact wound. If there's soot more on the skin around the wound, that means the gun was usually within 6 inches. If there's stippling, which is actually the gunpowder that comes out of the end of the gun and has tiny little abrasions on the skin surrounding it, that's usually within around 18 to 24 inches. The exceptions to those, of course, if it goes through like an intermediate object like a car door or a wall of some kind, and also very thick clothing can block those things. On this case, I did not see any soot or stippling, so this is what I call indeterminate range, meaning I don't know if it was 2 feet away or 20 feet away.
Okay. So no indication of sooting or stippling. So
And then, so after we track the bullet, it comes in, it goes through, it kind of hits the 11th rib, so we have 12 ribs, so just above the bottom rib. It hits part of the rib and part of the T11 vertebrae, so the 11th vertebrae going down the thoracic vertebrae there. It then goes through the right lower lobe of the lung, and then it goes through the right ventricle of the heart. So this is the most deadly thing that happened, is that it goes through his heart. That's not a survivable wound. It then goes and after it goes through the heart, it hits the inside of his rib cage. We're actually able to see when we remove the front of his rib cage where the bullet impacted. So it was actually a little higher up than where the bullet's found. So the bullet, because of the way it kind of mushroomed, got caught on the pericardial sac, which is the soft tissue sac that surrounds the heart. So it kind of pulled it back down, but it actually impacted further up and to the left.
would it have been immediately fatal, or would you expect to see somebody live for some time period after this?
So it's not immediately fatal. Those are more, and he would not lose consciousness immediately. Those are more with wounds to the head. So with a heart wound, maybe a minute or two, he could have, there's been reports of people being able to run with the adrenaline in their system, but not far. They collapse pretty quickly because the blood, every heartbeat is the blood's coming out of their heart and not circulating.
What is it that kills you? Is it
The blood loss. So instead of the blood circulating in your vessels and going to provide oxygen and energy to your cells, such as your heart, brain, vital organs, the blood is accumulating in his chest.
Tell me about midline is backbone, is that?
Yes.
How far from midline, left to right, was the wound?
The entrance wound was 1 3/4 inches right of midline.
And as far as a trajectory, was it, I guess, I assume back to front, there's no exit and the hole's in his back.
Correct. So it's back to front. It was going a bit upwards, and it's going just slightly right to left. So it goes from just right of midline to just left of midline.
Okay. Let me, with course permission, can Dr. Garso step down for a minute?
Sure.
Show me kind of on my back, just use me as a model, where would that entrance room be?
So if we go mid-back, just underneath that, just right of midline, I would say approximately in this location here.
Okay. You can figure, show the jury.
I would say right around here.
Hold on. It's an old shirt.
Okay. You want me to draw on you?
Show me what it is.
Okay. Never drawn on an attorney before.
Okay. And the trajectory was upward, you say?
Yes.
Okay. Show me with an X on the front of me where. Would it be on this side or this side?
It's going to be on the right side.
Okay. And do you need any notes or do you?
Turn around again. Oh, the left side, sorry, the left. Okay, so left, and it's, can I feel the bottom of your sternum? So it would be approximately here-ish.
Okay. Now with this rod, stand to the side. Show during my profile generally where that would be, how that would look going into Mr. Carmack Belton's body.
Say it like this. If he was standing straight up.
Okay.
The problem is like my diagram, everyone's standing in anatomical position. No one is ever really standing in anatomical position when they get shot, so.
Well, I got one more here. Judge, you've seen my toy gun. It's not a workable gun. It's a problem. You've seen this too, Dr. Darcy.
I have, yes.
If you're in a shooter stance, if that was testified to, okay?
Okay.
Stand with the jury or where they can see you, and I'm over here.
Do you want me to put this down?
Yeah. Would you expect to see that trajectory if you're in the shooter stance and you're behind me and I'm upright?
So a lot of times we get people, if someone is behind you with a gun, in general, someone's not going to stand there. A lot of times we have upward trajectories from people bending over.
Okay. The victim bending over, you mean?
Yes.
Let's just for argument's sake, you're the shooter and you're in a standard gunman stance. I am upright. Would you expect to see the trajectory that you observed on Mr. Belton?
No, so either the shooter would have had to be below you shooting upwards, or the victim would have had to be at an angle downwards, or he would have been uphill. There's a few different variables, but generally not straight if we're on flat ground and I'm directly behind you.
Yeah. testimony is we're on flat ground,
Okay,
okay, and you're standing upright in a shooter stance.
got it.
Would you expect this trajectory if I'm hunched over running from you?
Yes, that would make more sense.
Okay. Now, would you expect this trajectory if I was turned in any way like this?
Not from right behind you, no.
Okay. But you would expect this trajectory, would it be consistent with somebody running away in a runner's stance with their back directly towards you?
Yes, if I fired the weapon from here with you in that stance,
Okay.
especially with you just twisted just a tiny bit, that would be consistent.
Now, if I'm for some reason turning around, aiming at you, like I'm doing now,
Yes.
is it possible to have this trajectory?
No.
Thank you, Dr. Darcy. In your expert opinion, were you able to determine the cause of death?
Yes.
Okay. What was the cause of death?
The cause of death was a gunshot wound to the torso.
In your expert opinion, were you able to determine a manner of death?
This is considered a homicide.
Dr. Darcy, I think that's all the questions I have for you. I promise it was on the shirt.
Okay, I hope so. Sharpie. It will not wash out.
Elimination.
What, I'm sorry. Thank you. Nothing further.
Cross.
Dr. Durso, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I don't think we've ever met.
I have not met you before, no.
Let's go through a couple of things. One, my name is Sean Kent. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And under no circumstance am I going to let you draw on me. I can promise you that.
I'm good with that.
Okay, I can promise you that will not happen.
That's great.
Dr. Durso, I just want to go through some of your testimony to make sure that I understand that everything that you've
course.
said. And of course, I have no challenge to your expertise whatsoever. And so please don't take offense to any of my questions, and if I am wrong, feel free to correct me. Is that a fair statement?
Fair enough.
And you do not have anyone to reward, anyone to punish. We consider you a neutral witness. Is that fair? You don't work for the solicitors?
Oh, correct. No. I'm just here to explain the autopsy findings and what it means, and that's it. I do not take sides.
And I'm definitely not going to disrespect or ask you how much you make or anything of that nature. That's completely improper, but you work for a living, correct? You work for the Medical University of South Carolina?
Yes.
And how long have you been there?
Well, I've only worked directly under them for about a year now. For 15 years before that, I worked for a private group of pathologists, and they just bought our practice. So I'm doing the same job for 16 years, but with MUSC for only a year now.
And doctor, as we talk about things, you are a doctor. You are I say correctly because that is a rude phrase, but they want to make sure that they can look at it, challenge it, and see if it's done a consistent way.
Yes.
Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, there are specific standards that are utilized in doing autopsies.
Yes.
And that comes from the forensic autopsy performance standards.
Yes.
Are you familiar with those?
Yes.
And we utilize those to make sure that if somebody else is looking at the work that we've ever done, that we can have a standard so that not necessarily can challenge, so they can make sure. Well, tell me why we have standards. Tell me the point.
Just so we don't have people making stuff up and creating havoc.
And we want to endeavor to make sure that if we utilize and follow the standards at all times, that's when we know things are done exactly correctly.
Yes.
What happens when we don't follow standards? Is that a problem?
I'm not sure what you're getting at, to be honest
It's just a
with you.
question. Do you know, I mean, how about let's make this, Looking at the picture of the autopsy, do we believe that all standards were followed properly?
I believe I did.
When we're looking at the human body, I think you mentioned that we take it from the anatomical position.
Correct.
We take the height of the individual.
Yes.
Because we want to be very specific.
Yes.
And then we measure where the wound is, the defect, I think some call it, but wherever the wound is.
Yes.
We measure it exactly because we want to have very precise measurements.
Correct.
And then in this situation, we are very specific that the wound path in this situation is back to front, and because we can tell that, because we can tell the entry wound.
Correct.
And it's going front, back to front, and it's going, I think you mentioned right to left,
Yes.
and it's going slightly up.
Yes.
Now, first I want to deal with the word slightly. In my research and looking and talking to other doctors, they had mentioned that that's generally not a word that we utilize when dealing with autopsy because we want specificity. Is that a fair statement?
I use it, and so do my colleagues.
But with a word like slightly, that's not a question where we can get a specific what numbers that we are dealing with.
I guess not, no.
And without having a specific, using a word like slightly, slightly on a small human being could be different than slightly on a large human being.
Yes.
And when we're dealing with standards and making sure we can make a point of what has happened, it makes it almost impossible for another doctor, another pathologist to look at our work and say, what does slightly mean? Would you
Well, that's
agree?
why we take photos.
And that's the next thing I wanted to get into. That's why we take photos.
Correct.
And when we take photographs in situations, we don't just take photos, we follow the standards to make sure it's done the exact same way, correct?
Okay.
And you're familiar with the forensic autopsy standards? Are you familiar with them?
Yes.
Okay. And are you aware that utilizing the forensic autopsy standards, there are specific things that we are supposed to do when we take pictures of injuries?
I'm not the one taking photographs.
But you would agree with me there's some specifics that we're supposed to have in dealing with an autopsy?
What are you saying we were missing?
I'm asking, are you aware of
Because
that?
I can see what.
And if it's done, please correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Now, what are we supposed to do when we take pictures of injuries?
I don't understand what you're.
And it
getting
looks like
at.
I am completely on the wrong. No, yeah. In section E2, it talks about what happens when we have injuries. Would you agree with me?
Yes.
Okay. And just generically, what are we supposed to do when we take pictures of injuries?
This isn't saying pictures, it's describing.
Okay. But what are we supposed to do?
It says describe an injury by type, location, size, shape, pattern, and color.
Okay, and if we turn to page 15, that is where our industry standards talk about photographic documentation of injuries. Are you familiar with that section in the standards?
Yes.
And if we go to the forensic pathologist or representative shall, there's E31 and E3.2. What does E3.2 require us to do?
It says photograph major injuries with a scale.
Did we do that in this situation?
The sheriff's department or police department is the one that does that. And typically they do. I do not supervise them directly.
Do we have a picture of any of the injuries with the scale?
There should be some.
We haven't testified or seen any of that yet.
Yeah, Mr. Kent, going down a road you might not want to go.
May we approach?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And doctor, I think I understand what you were saying, that you did not take the pictures, these pictures that we have.
Correct.
And if you would have taken the pictures, you would have had a scale next to the pictures as required by the industry standards.
Right. So the sheriff's department always uses a scale, I guarantee you.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take a short break. I'll be right back with you. I promise this is the last one of the day. Don't discuss the case.
I'm trying to calm down.
It's been turned over.
We have, what, no one is saying anything's not turned over. No one was accusing anyone of any type of, I don't want to use the word, discovery violation. But it has been handled, we've addressed it, I know how to address it with this witness. She didn't do it anyway, so we've been fine. I think my question was going to stop because she didn't put it on there, the sheriff's office would have done it, so we would come through this witness. I mean, she's exactly right, she didn't do it, and that's where we're going to stop anyway, the inquiry. She wouldn't put the picture on there.
Are there really no pictures from the church?
No, they have some. Yeah, no, they have some. You just read it.
Okay.
It's an image.
Can we approach them?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned that, that is standard practice. And what she testified to is, I don't take pictures, the sheriff's department coroner's office do. And she's asking, that should have been done. It hasn't been done. It has been done. It's been turned over, and we've called out all these pictures because I thought we were all in agreement that a couple pictures of his leg and 2 pictures, we were limited to 2 pictures of his fatal wound, which we agreed to, and now we're kind of being punished for that. So, I mean, it's a little, I don't,
There's no attempt to punish at all. I'm still in the middle of the direct of this witness. If it is not, and they have a right to recross, and if it is not handled properly, I think the court can address it.
okay, well, we just, we need to print up this picture now and introduce it.
But she didn't take it anyway.
She's gonna, it does exist though, we don't know. So, I mean, it's just, I don't like the implication.
Why don't we let him finish his cross-examination? See where that goes. If it is rectified during the cross-examination, we'll be fine. If not, maybe we will discuss something curative for me.
Yes. Yeah, and I think she did a good job of correcting it right there, and I think that's where we were going, but I'll make it up a little more clear. She's smarter than me.
It's all good.
Right in there, so I think we're fine.
You told me I could correct you.
And you corrected the heck out of me,
It's
so
all
I think
good.
that's where we were going.
It's court.
Just for the record, Your Honor, all of this information was turned over to current counsel, at least a portion of current counsel on what they, January 30th, 2025. So they do have that information.
All right. Well, let's give the jury about 5 more minutes. I'm sure someone went to the restroom and stuff like that. Anybody need the opportunity to do that real quick? Go ahead.
by you. Okay, thank you.
You don't think I do? You are not writing on me. It is not. I feel very comfortable. You'll never also hear me say this thing, and it's an old shirt. You'll not hear that. Yes.
All right, Mr. Bowden, recommend, please, sir.
Quick moment, Chairman. Do we need to do a curative to show that this information was sent to the defense January 30th, 2025?
Let's see how the cross goes.
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Cut off there, but she fixed it. I'll fix it.
Okay, yeah. Yes, sir. Bring him on in.
Jury's present, Your Honor.
Go ahead, Mr. Kent.
Thank you so much. And Dr. Durso, I want to make sure I understand completely, and I think as we've talked about, if I say something incorrect, you have every right to correct me. But I want to make sure I'm clear. You don't take the pictures, and I think that's where my confusion was. You don't take the
Right,
pictures.
I don't take the photos. I'm honestly gloved up in full PPE the whole time. So the coroner's office has a representative that takes photos. And in this case, I believe it was the sheriff's department
Yes, ma'am.
sent one of their crime scene investigators to take photos. And they always take pictures with and without scale of the wounds.
And you understand why that was a concern of a question that I had to make sure who actually took the pictures, and that's why I'm glad you can explain that.
Right, I'm happy to
And
correct you.
No problem. And I want to give you a chance to make sure to clarify. Is there anything wrong with someone different taking the pictures other than you? That way you can clarify to the jury. Because I
No,
don't
there's
wanna-
no problem, and that's very typical, because I've worked in medical examiners' offices in North Carolina during training, and it's always someone else that's usually taking the photo. It's very infrequent in my experience
Yes, ma'am.
that the actual pathologist has the camera, because once again, we're in full gear doing the work, and that way we can just call someone over and say, take a picture of this.
And to make sure, so I don't look like I just tried to beat you up with a bunch of papers, I asked you the question about those forensic standards. You can understand it says something different. Do you want to explain why that's not at issue in this situation? Because of course, I read the forensic standards to the court.
Right, so it actually says the forensic pathologist or pathologist in training shall, and it literally says photograph injuries. So it literally does say that, which I think that's something probably names should correct, because I don't know any forensic pathologists that take the photos.
So you can understand where my confusion comes from, that it says that you should, and I'm not blaming you, not blaming the solicitor's office, but you understand when I read the standards, it says that you should, but you're like, nobody does that.
Correct.
Okay. I want to talk about, and again, if I use words or say things incorrectly, please talk to me, because one of the things we have to figure out is the laterality of the bullet as it entered into the body. That's something important, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Do you have a copy of your report in front of you?
I do.
Is that something that we measured to figure out inside the body, the laterality of the movement of the bullet when it went inside of the body?
So there's no exit wound. So typically there's an exit wound that's pretty easy to measure, but it's inside the body. So I described it. We took lots of photos, and I actually put a trajectory rod through his body to show the trajectory. That's our standard of what we do.
And you understand why I asked the question, because that could be something important, the laterality of the bullet going into the body, especially as we're talking about a right to left path.
Correct, and that's why I described where it was located and why I put the trajectory rod through the body. But of course, the body at that point has been opened, because again, it's not a through and through, so it's not a picture that most people would be okay seeing.
Yes, ma'am. And of course, that's one of the questions that, when I brought up at the beginning, utilizing, I want to make sure I say this correctly, utilizing words like slightly, when we then talk about we don't have a measurement of the laterality of how the bullet moves in the body, that would be something we'd have trouble determining how right to left something is actually moving. Do you understand why I had that concern?
Yeah, and that's why we have the pictures with the trajectory rods and all of the descriptors.
And how are the pictures of those trajectory rods? Are they taken from the angles, or are they just taken straight on?
They're supposed to walk around the body and take them from multiple angles.
And if it's not done, is that an issue?
It's not ideal.
Okay, just asking. Well, is it not ideal because we can't tell how right to left something is?
Well, I know how right to left, but for someone reviewing, like you said, I just like to be thorough.
The solicitor was asking you questions again about the right to left movement of the path. Now, when I was doing my studies, it says something, and again, this is where you correct me because you're smarter than me. When a bullet is moving like 3 to 4 inches, almost equates to like 30 to 40% turn to the torso. Do you understand what I'm saying? When the bullet inside of the body, you look like you know where I'm going, so I'll let you explain.
There's all sorts of theories about measuring angles and degrees, but the problem is there's so many variables.
Right.
And so, is the body twisted, or is the person just standing to the right of them? There's a lot of different variables. So there's not, unless you were physically there at the scene.
And that's what I wanted, and I'm glad you
And
said.
know exactly where everyone is standing, it's hard. I can tell you whether something's consistent with the pattern and the angle, but I can't say, well, this person had to be standing here, because I don't know exactly what angle even the victim's body was at. Nobody can unless you were there.
And that's why, going back, while we talk about we do the body in an anatomical position, and then you just talk about possibilities and not possibility, and the sad part is a lot of things are possible.
Correct.
And so when we say this is, it's almost rare to say something's impossible, because we don't know because you're not there.
Correct. I can say if it's consistent or not. Clearly, he was not shot from the front, he was shot from the back. So
Correct.
there's certain things we can say.
And when we talk about the slightly right to left, there's a degree, the solicitor said, couldn't have done that, which we understand, but there can be a slight turn, correct?
Correct.
Like there can be a slight turn this much.
True.
Okay.
If the shooter's directly behind.
If the shooter's directly behind, and we're gonna do that thing, but you are not going to draw on me.
Come on. I'm good at it now.
Let's grab a couple of bodies. Would you come up here and show me again, because I want to make sure I understand. I'm gonna have you come on down again. And just so you don't take the chance, I'm gonna take Kenny Rogers, if he'll come over here and we'll utilize him. So what I want to talk about, so if we turn the body this way, and this is where we're gonna be this individual.
Okay.
This is gonna be the individual who had passed.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the solicitor asked you if this was possible, and you said no.
Correct.
But this is possible.
Slightly, yes.
So that's possible.
Yes.
So a human could be turning this way, and that's possible.
Yes, slightly to the right. Maybe not quite that much. I mean, that's assuming, like, if I'm to the right of you, that
Yeah.
changes, but directly behind, as it goes just right to just left.
Okay, so
I would
we-
say more than about there. If I'm directly
If
behind.
you're directly behind.
Yes.
So that's possible.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, you can go back. See, you didn't get to draw on me. And they've introduced x-rays. Again, I'm not brilliant. One of the things that we always have to make sure of is the x-rays and so forth. Just shows where the bullet comes to rest. It doesn't show like the bullet is trampling or anything like that when it's in the human body.
Right, and because of that impact on the inside of his rib cage, I could tell that it didn't come to rest exactly at the direct angle, because, bullets don't turn, they go straight. And then it got, again, snagged on the soft tissue around the heart, and it kind of yanked it back down.
And so I think the phrase I use, a bullet can trampling back, is that a proper phrase that I just used?
That's a word, yeah, you can
Okay.
use that.
Look at me, look at words, look like I know stuff. And again, I want to apologize completely if I have misconstrued anything you have testified to, and I have not challenged your expertise whatsoever.
I
And so
understand.
please apologize if it seems like I have done anything to do that. Have I given you opportunity to answer all the questions that I have?
Yes.
And do you feel as though you've gotten perfect opportunity to respond properly to everything that I have asked?
Yes.
Have you given opportunity to see? You don't believe that I've tried to trick you in any way whatsoever, do you?
No.
And you would agree with your testimony that we've talked about, there are different possibilities that could have happened and you were not there.
Absolutely.
And one of the things the solicitor talked to you about, if the two individuals are on flat ground, that takes a situation that you don't know,
Correct.
because you're not there.
Correct.
And so if somebody's on a flat ground or raised ground or something like that, all of that changes our equations.
Correct. There are several variables, as long as that angle stays true, but you
As
can
long as
move
the angle
both
stays
the shooter, the shootee, and everyone else around, so.
And so the best way to do it is take the science that you have offered and put it with witnesses, evidence, and so forth, and let them decide what happened. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Oh, I've been told
Okay.
I've been told I have another question.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you being here.
Anything I want to direct?
No, Your Honor.
All right, doctor, you can step down. Thank you for being here. Good to see you again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's our get there. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna adjourn for the day. Same rules apply. Don't discuss the case with anyone or amongst yourselves. Don't do any research or anything like that overnight. And we will get started tomorrow morning at 9:30. Y'all have a good evening. Oh, yeah, stop, just a second. Any more witnesses from the state?
Not for today, Your Honor.
Oh, so you're, okay. Sorry about that. Now you're